Hey everybody, welcome to let's call this episode 180 of Masters of the Forge. I'll use it for that. So I'm here with Jason. Hi Jason.
Yo, Adam. Hello, everyone.
How are you feeling?
Um,
What? I think you answered your own
that's a
question.
good question. I do like the distortion I hear in my voice. It's, very, very, the Nax type sound, maybe mid 70s slash distortion. Like they actually took a knife to cut the speakers rather than actually have distortion pedals because, it's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah. That's fun. So what we're actually doing today is we talked about it in the last episode. We threatened to do it, but we haven't in a long time. But this time we're doing it. I'm playing hooky from work, and Jason, you're done with your semester ish.
Yes.
So we are playing a game on Tabletop Simulator. Yay! Yay! So Jason, you made a Thousand Sons Thousand Sons Crusade Force, right? And I'm running the Ork Crusade Force that I've had for a little while. So here's the interesting thing, like the one I've played past few games. The interesting thing is, like, I'm a little concerned because this Ork force is all Psychers and I am running Death Skulls, so they have a feel no pain versus mortal wounds. So I'm a little concerned my army might be a little extra, but we'll see. I'm not sure. Like it's a terrible army, but against your army it actually might be pretty decent. Yeah. So we'll see. I was looking through the Amidst the Ashes book. Yeah, because that's the one with the more, the missions with
Orks,
a bit more normal missions in it. And it's got some cool scenarios. One of them is turn out the lights.
Okay.
Here's the flavor text. As an evil darkness encroaches on an isolated outpost, the terrified defenders try their hardest to keep the compound illuminated. Their foes are determined to extinguish the light, destroy the defenses, and kill all inside. So, my half of the battlefield has 2 power couplings and 2 generators, which are all represented by burning barrels because that's just how we do.
Yeah.
Our deployment zones are both 12 inches from the middle. The power couplings are more towards the center of the battlefield, and the generators are on the edge of my deployment zone. You can perform a mission. So you're going to be the attacker. I'm going to be the defender, because I think that makes the most sense for this scenario. Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're not afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
So mission rules are: turn out the lights. Units in the attacker's army can attempt the following action: turn out the lights. 1 or more units from your army can start to perform this action at the end of your movement phase. Each unit from your army that starts to perform this action must be in range of a different undestroyed objective marker. This action cannot be started on a generator objective marker until the corresponding power coupling objective marker has been destroyed. So from your perspective, the middle objective on the left has to be destroyed before the objective in my deployment zone on the left, and vice versa, and similar with the one on the right. It's completed at the start of your next command phase, so it's one of those where you have to hold it for the entire turn. So the mission objectives are amidst the dark. To protect themselves, the defenders must prevent the attackers from putting out the lights. So I score 40 victory points for each undestroyed generator and 45 points for each. And the attacker scores 45 for each destroyed. So you get more points for destroying than I do for undestroying. Still standing at the end of the battle, the defender scores 10 VP if the combined power rating of units that were destroyed from the attacker's army was more than 10 higher than the combined power rating of units that were destroyed in the defender's army. And so if I don't get that, the power rating of units that were destroyed in the attacker's army was more than 10 higher. Okay, so if I destroy 40 power level of yours and you destroy 29 of mine, I score it. It has to be more than 10 higher.
Okay.
So the victor bonus for this one is 2 marked for greatness. If the attacker is the victor and they have the warp corruption note on the order of battle, their Crusade Force gains 1 corruption point for each destroyed generator objective marker. The defender has machinery risen. They get 1 awakening point for undestroyed power coupling objective marker. So if you recall, the corruption, the path of corruption, I think it's called corruption of the week. If you wanted to, you could spend a requisition point to add a warp corruption note on your order of battle, and you get 1 corruption point. Later, you can purchase upgrades that unlock new psychic powers.
Ooh. I
was wondering if you wanted to do that. You have some requisition points left over, right?
I've burned 2. How many do I start with? I realized
you start with 5.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let me leave. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 of them to go ahead and give myself a warlord trait and to give my warlord a cool relic. So
that would leave 3, you with 3. Yeah. So I maybe you want to leave it open for now. Say let's say play the game as if you have it, and if you're not interested in following that path, we can just refund the requisition point. Does that sound good?
Cool. Gross. Okay.
Oh man, yuck.
It's pretty cool. I think I can actually glue bricks together with this stuff. That's a fun little visual for our listeners. Sorry, ladies and gents, boys and girls, children of all ages.
All right. So yeah, turn out the lights. That's what we're doing now. The defender gets the first turn in this one. So let's go ahead and talk about our armies. I'll start. So my Crusade Force is 70 what? My entire Crusade Force at this point is 75 supply limit. So I have some options because I'm glad I do, because the last few games, like I said, running 2 toughness 8 vehicles was a little extra. Yeah. It was a lot. So, I mean, it was kind of a lot. So I have more of a mixture of units now, which is nice. So in this Crusade Force, I did take all of my psychers so that we could do a psycher versus psycher psych off. So my warlord is my weird boy. He's got Might is Right, which gives him +1 attacks and +1 strength. He's got the Scorched Git Bones, which gives him +1 to cast Witchfire powers, and a 4+ Feel No Pain versus Perils of the Warp. His psychic powers are Edbanger, which is 1 unit within 18 inches. If I roll higher than the toughness, I deal D6 mortal wounds, and only one model can be killed. So it's basically to kill characters.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's kind of a bad power, but whatever. I like the idea of burning one guy's brains out. His other power is Decrunch. 1 unit within 18 inches, roll for each model in the unit and deal 1 mortal wound for each 6+. If the check was 9+, add 1 to the rolls. So it'd be a 5+ instead. That's a good one because it doesn't have the limitation that Squiggly Curse does that I just found out, as you recall from the last episode.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. He's also gotten himself a Crusade relic. It's Dead Ard armor. The Dead Ard armor. I'll tell you what it is because I didn't actually write it down. So I'm just gonna use I'm just gonna use a filler here to just blah 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 to talk.
That works.
It's +1 wounds and +1 armor saves, which is really funny because his armor save is 6+.
Well, t-shirt save.
Yeah, so he now has a 5+ save. Good for him. But really, the +1 wound is great. He that gives him like 6 wounds, in a lot, actually quite a few attacks, and pretty good, like 8 strength or something when he's swinging his staff. So it's pretty good. I forget, but he's pretty strong in combat now because I just decided if my weird boy is going to be my warlord, he better be dead strong. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He better be dead strong. His buddy is Zagwarp. Zagwarp is a Wur boss, which is the Beastnaga weird boy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Warboy, he's got a warlord trait as well. I paid for a warlord trait for him. He's got the big Killaboss. He gets +2 attacks while within engagement range of a vehicle or monster, and +1 to wound versus monsters and vehicles. Okay. So he's really good against fighting monsters. Unfortunately, I found out that he doesn't have a weapon at all. Like, he doesn't have a melee weapon. He punches things with his fists.
Aww. That's kind of cute.
It's so bad. It's kind of a terrible warlord trait for him. And I'm going to try to see if I can't get him some weapon upgrades for his fists, I guess. Like +1 AP or something. Then for Beasthide Mantle is his relic. He has +1 attack and 5+ Feel No Pain. So he always has Feel No Pain. And so this guy has about a 5 trillion attacks when fighting a monster. He just can't kill it because he's not strong enough.
Okay.
His psychic powers are Squiggly Curse, which is you pick a unit, and on a 4+ for each model, it takes mortal wound up to 6. And Roar of Mork, 1 unit within 18 inches, -2 advance and charge, and -1 leadership, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, he's lost a leg. So he's -1 movement, advance, and charge now.
Oh, he had a battle scar.
He has a battle scar. He's lost a leg.
that really is funny.
It's great. So I've also got 3 units of Beastnaga boys. One is a new unit that I've added recently, so they don't have anything special. Right. And the other 2 have been around, but they haven't earned enough experience to give them any upgrades. So it's just 3 units of 10 Beastnaga boys. The interesting thing about them is they're 5 strength and 5 toughness. And in combat, they have -1 AP with their choppos. Okay. So you definitely want to kill those guys as soon as possible because they're really the ace in the hole versus your much smaller army.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to kill those guys.
My army is that small. I realize that.
Well, it's gonna be right. Like it's Thousand Sons.
That's Thousand Sons.
Yeah. Then we have a Kilrig, which is also a Psyker character, the big monster thing in the middle here. He's pretty cool. He that does have a battle trait called Dead Choppy. Wait, sorry, wrong. The Kilrig has Psychic Might. It can cast 1 extra psychic power per turn.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
It was pretty nice. Their powers are Frazzle, which is I roll for each unit within 6 inches, and on a 4+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. And then Beast Scent, 1 unit within 18 inches gets no cover against attacks by Beastnagas.
Oh,
which is nice. Yeah. I got you sniffed out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah.
I've got two trucks. One of them has a grab and claw. They're not very special. And a unit of Squig Hog boys with a bomb
Mhm.
squig. They're brand new. And a knob on Smash a Squig, and he is brand new as well. So these are all new additions to the
Okay.
army to help give it a little bit of variety. So we talked about it, and we decided we're going to do some special things for stratagems during our games. We've decided to allow use of all of the basic stratagems from the core rulebook, so that a command point reroll, the emergency disembarkation, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Anything that I think they've got those in there for a reason, for everybody to use. So we should still have access to those. But we've also decided to limit our stratagems from our faction or any other stratagems to two.
Mhm.
Maybe we should not limit like the ones that are like mission specific, obviously, because that wouldn't be those are there in the mission for a reason. But for our armies, we're limiting it to two, and then we'll spend one requisition point for each stratagem we want to add to our army's training. Okay, so my orcs training right now is the stratagem Careen, which is when the driver of the vehicle moves the vehicle. If it explodes, I get to move it 6 inches before it explodes, which is cool. So all my drivers have been trained to really hit the gas when they hear the crumping from underneath the fuselage. And then also I chose Tough as Squig Hide, which is a stratagem that allows beast snagas to basically, it's kind of like I'll just read it. Beast snaga infantry, cavalry, or monster unit from your army is selected as the target of an attack until the end of that phase. Each time an attack is made against that unit, an unmodified wound roll of 1 to 3 for that attack fails, irrespective of ability. So a wound roll of 1 to 3 does not work against them when I use that stratagem. So that'll work for everything except the kill rig doesn't get that. The kill rig automatically has the orc, the orc ability, which is Ramshackle.
Oh yeah.
I have -1 damage versus any attacks that are strength 7 or lower, and that goes true for the trucks as well. So yeah, that's my army. I think it'll be a lot more interesting than my other armies. Oh, one more thing, my warlord, the weird boy, he is my boss, or my what do they call it? My might makes right character.
Okay.
So he also has +1 strength.
Ooh.
So his strength is like 100.
Yeah.
He's got he's really high strength right now. But that's it. That's my army. So Jason, I would be interested to hear about your army, because I think this is kind of our, Thousand Sons Crusade preview.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested in hearing how you feel about the rules as you go through them, if you can, and like what you've chosen to reflect your sorcerer's warband.
All right. So this is my first time playing with the new codex. I know it was released in August. I've been busy, whatever.
We've all been busy. It's no big deal, buddy. Yeah.
I've been really happy. Like I spent part of my break just reading the Crusade or the rule book. I was listening to sorry. I was listening to Lost in the
buddy.
Nails, one of their episodes. I can't remember which one, and they were talking about Crusade rules being, they're all faction specific, but they're being very good about GW's being very good about making the Crusade content actually work with the army. Like, so I think it was Eric and Brian were talking about Sisters of Battle have all this really gnarly extra stuff to go through and take, some, minor character and turn them into a living saint and then all that. Which, I remember when we did that review, I was almost having itches. So I was almost getting the hives just thinking about what could they do to the Thousand Sons. But then, I went through and started looking at it and realized that the Crusade rules in this book are much more. They're much better for, the sorcerers of the Thousand Sons. It seems to be like almost everything in here seems to be more of a, who's your warlord? Here's how to make them better. Like who do your exalted sorcerer?
Yeah, they're in charge.
I mean, they're not.
Well, and it stands to reason, right? These warriors are, for the most part, without character. Yeah, they're without character. I mean, those sorcerers can either, like, they talk about how they can kind of sense the spirit, but that's probably more their own memories. Like it's like when you imprint emotions on your pets, right?
Yeah, exactly. And let's be perfectly honest, I can't even convince myself to care about what happens to a Zangor. I just don't. It's not even interesting. Like, I just look at it and go, yeah, that's chaff. Here bullet wounds. Here, go take those. So anyways, I've been really happy with the Crusade book, or with the Thousand Sons book. The Crusade content's really cool. It's really quite flavorful. But let's go ahead and talk about my army and how I put it together. So I guess, we had our Crusade stuff from last year, and the goal of that narrative, or that Crusade army for me, was to create like maybe a silver tower for this sorcerer. I mean, I realize it's an exalted sorcerer. It should already have a silver tower, but whatever. Maybe making a better one. How about that? So anyways, I've got an exalted sorcerer as my warlord. I decided to go ahead and pull in an infernal master. Don't worry, I'll talk about all the other stuff in a second. Just because there's some new stuff, infernal pacts, cabalistic rituals, etc., that I really wanted to play around with. And then 3 squads of MSU Rubric Marines, just because you get 3 aspiring sorcerers that way. And like I said, I cannot convince myself to care about Zangors. I just can't. And I brought in a unit of Scarab Occult Terminators. I don't know why I did. Well, yeah, because they're a cool unit.
They're cool and they're punchy.
They're a cool unit. I mean, I wanted to go through and keep this as much rubric and as I could. I then brought in a Chaos Contemptor. Well, it's a Chaos Contemptor Dreadnought, but it's an Osiren Dreadnought from Forge World. It's the Psyker Dreadnought. Incredibly cool looking model. So I definitely have that guy. And I brought a couple.
Yeah, the model that we have here doesn't have. They didn't have one with the Cyclone launchers on it, but it does have.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I did put Cyclone launchers on there. I added the Cyclone launcher just because there's so much extra cool stuff on here, and it's supposed to be a Psychic Dreadnought. So let's just make the, let's just say it has the launchers, just because then it makes it sound a little cooler.
Oh yeah.
And I had 2 power level left. I was like, let's throw in some Spawn, because why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
they can tie something.
Go ahead.
They can tie something.
Yeah. They're there for something. I don't know. Sorry. All right. Exalted Sorcerer. Let's see. What does he have? He's my warlord. He's on a Disc of Zinch, just because I like that whole idea of a sorcerer, being very mobile.
He can be Johnny on the spot with his powers, or with his offensive abilities,
or he can get away. That was the other thing.
Yeah, he can also get away, which is nice.
So his warlord trait was, let's see if I can get all these syllables in the right order. Master Misinformator. There we go. which is from the Cult of Duplicity. Oh, hold on, yeah. So I'm going with Cult of Duplicity as my Cult of the Legion.
Uh-huh.
Why did I go with it? Actually, I liked the Warlord trait. The problem with rubrics and the problem with Thousand Sons is they don't move. Unless you bring in rhinos and whatnot. And this will allow me to move stuff around a little bit better because.
Okay, what does it do?
Of course it wouldn't be on here, would it? Cool. Thanks, Battle Scribe.
No, that's totally fine. Well, yeah, Battle Scribe. Yeah, it's good to a point, right?
All right, Master Misinformator. Let me see. I have all these post-it notes in my book. Okay.
Well, we did this cool thing. I tried out this thing called Yellow Scribe, where you can actually import your Battle Scribe army list into Tabletop Simulator, and it creates like you're on it gives you a table, and it puts a bunch of cards on the table, right? And you also put your army on the table, minus any numbers to the troops, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So you take all these cards out, and you click on a card, and it'll tell you click a model to apply all the rules to that model. Ooh. So your Exalted Sorcerer, I would click that card, and then I click the Exalted Sorcerer model, and it fills out all the abilities and stuff from the Battle Scribe output onto the character. So that's why it has all of your abilities and all of your psychic powers there. It does that with the Rubric Marine. So I would only need one Rubric Marine to represent the 4 that are there. So I would click the card, then I click one Rubric Marine, and then at the very end you click build army or whatever, and it duplicates anything that there's multiples of.
That is cool. That is cool.
For that unit. So you'd need one for each unit, which I did here. So it's really nice. I really liked that. The only thing is, like, each member of the squad would be the same pose and whatever. But
that's fine.
It's kind of whatever. It's Tabletop Simulator.
Well, it's Thousand Sons too. So
yeah, so they're very busy. Okay, so what was the Warlord trait?
All right, so at the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, select up to D3 Cult of Duplicity units, which is everybody from your army. Remove those units and this Warlord from the battlefield, and set them up again following the normal deployment rules for the mission being played. So it's basically a redeploy.
That rules. Yeah. When does that happen
again? At the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
I think there was something like that in the last edition too, or the last book.
That is so
otherwise,
great.
Otherwise, they don't.
Well, I like that.
It's just,
yeah, I like that. So now we, oh yeah. So I was wondering what was his relic?
Oh, his relic is the Incandeum? Yeah. All right. It's a staff.
That sounds
right. It's
a
staff. I decided to go ahead and upgrade that just because the whole idea of the wizard or sorcerer having a really cool staff is kind of nice. So the difference between this staff and normal staves is that it has a shooting attack as well. See, 12-inch range, assault. Strength 5, AP -2, damage 1, whatever. And then let's see. Each time attack was. Oh yeah, so it's almost like it's a shooting attack, but it's more like a flaming shooting attack because.
Oh, nice.
The D6 or the D6 damage is more of a how many hits do you generate rather than a how many shots do you have.
Okay.
So basically, it's a flaming staff, which I guess is why it's
nice.
Incandeum.
What are its in melee stats?
+3 strength, -1 AP, damage D3. So that's not too bad.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
There's a lot of interesting stuff in here. The relics are all pretty cool. some work better than others, but that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one for Zangors, so I don't care. I mean, whatever.
So, what were the psychic powers you chose for your units?
For my warlord, let's see. Here's where it gets fun. Let's see. So for the warlord, of course, smite. Another one called Sorcerer's Facade, which is part of the Cult of Duplicity. That's one of their powers. It's a blessing. So if manifested, select one friendly Cult of Duplicity infantry or monster within 6 inches of the Psyker. You then remove that unit from the battlefield and set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from any enemy model. Which the warp charge on there is 8, but because this is a battle forged army, no matter how I put it together, whenever I roll psychic, I add +1.
Oh, okay, so you have a +1 to all your psychic checks,
which is cool.
Cool.
I like that. They have temporal manipulation. So another blessing. If manifested, select 1,000 friendly Thousand Sons model, excluding vehicles, within 12 inches of the Psyker, and that model is healed and regains up to D3 lost wounds. Each model can only be healed once per turn, which I think that's kind of cool. I liked that one a lot because it's a way for the warlord to bounce around and heal, other units, but also to heal himself, because at the end of the day, this warlord's entire thing is staying alive and everyone else gets to, go to dust. Which, I mean, that's kind of what it should be. Then I took the Infernal Master. He's got both psychic powers. He also has infernal packs, which is part of the model, or it's part of the model's abilities. So the infernal packs I took were Fires of the Abyss. So if this pact is successful, the closest enemy unit within 15 inches of and visible to this unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Then I took Malefic Maelstrom, which
Infernal pack. So when do those pop off?
Those occur. I'm trying to remember exactly. They're not in the command phase, I don't think. They're before. I believe they're before.
Maybe at the start of the psychic phase. Yeah, we can look it up. I just want to make sure we remember it, because that's probably very essential that I take those mortals.
Yeah. Okay. 55. Hold on. If you have your hymnals, it is page 55 of this. All right. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, just FYI, I do have 5 Crusade points and you have 2. So you're getting 2 additional command points to spend during the battle. Right. So you get 8 and I get 6.
Oh, wow. Okay. Makes me almost wished I'd taken that other stratagem.
The more expensive one. Well, you have extra requisition points. You can add it to your roster.
Yeah, let me do that. Like. Hold on. We're talking about the I don't know where it is. I just have to remember it. All right. So, anyways, infernal packs. I think that happens in the command phase, if I remember right. I'm sure there's someone right now who's saying, "What are you, crazy? It happens this other phase."
Would be nice if there was an index.
Yeah, there is an index. Let's see.
Is there?
I think.
How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah, here's a reference.
We're flipping pages. Oh, there's even a glossary.
Wow. All right.
Ooh, look at what a nice reference. I've got one for my orcs as well.
Hey, nice. All right. Where is it? This makes great
radio.
Yeah. Especially with my voice sounding the way it sounds.
Yo, the BeastSnag 3D models that they imported are real nice. I think they rip them right out of the 3D like spinny thing on the website.
I hope so.
Because they look real nice.
All right. I think it's the command phase, and I'm tired of digging through this. And we'll talk about it.
We can look it up later.
We'll talk about it during the game. Okay, so Infernal Master, 2 packs. Oh, yeah, it's near command phase. Duh, it's actually on the page. Okay.
Oh, all right, great.
So Fires of the Abyss, the Malefic Maelstrom, and that the Malefic Maelstrom gives a unit that has a ranged attack. It adds +1 strength to their attack, which is kind of cool, especially since I have so many units that just shoot, and that could make them better shots.
We're going to need tokens.
Yeah, we will need tokens. In fact, I need to buy some for whenever I game. All right, let's see. Now, psychic powers. Oh, man. I was going to have to talk about this one. Okay. Cacodemonic Curse. There we go. So if manifested, select one enemy unit within 8 inches of the Psyker until the start of your next psychic phase. Subtract one from the strength characteristic of ranged weapon models in that unit. So I can make you weaker if you're shooting me. He has Smite, of course, and the Sorcerer's Facade is given to all Cult of Duplicity models. So let's see. That's Infernal Master. Then I have 3 Rubric squads. I think 2 of the Aspiring Sorcerers have Doombolt, which is kind of a better Smite. I know.
Okay.
If it's if Doombolt is manifested, the closest enemy unit within 18 inches of and visible to the Psyker suffers 3 mortal wounds. One cool rule, and is it on here? Oh, I went through and added Icon of Flame to each of these, and that's to go through and add Kabbalistic points. Because one of the things that there's all these new things that are added, like you have the Infernal Pact, you have Kabbalistic points. And what Kabbalistic points do is they allow you in the psychic phase to allow things to go off. So for instance, let me pull up that part of the rules.
Oh, right. I heard about this where you can like automatically pass tests and stuff.
And it's really quite nice. It's a way to make sure the stuff rolls rather than, hey, that didn't work. And I just have to find the page where it is.
No problem. I'll talk about the terrain setup while you do that. So during this game, again, the deployment zones are all 12 inches from the center, and it's long ways deployment, which I think a lot of these incursion missions, they have switched them to long ways because, let's be honest, 30 by 45 is not a large amount of space, and going short ways is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
So it's a junkyard. There's a bunch of wrecked cars and stuff. In Jason's deployment zone, there's a giant yellow crane that's picking up a Volkswagen bus. And there's a few piles of wrecked cars. Those are light cover, scalable, and exposed position. So they're kind of like crates, storage containers. You can climb on top of them, but if you're standing on top of them, you are going to not get a cover save. But if you're behind them and within 3 inches, you will get a cover save. There's some more obstacles like that just outside of his deployment zone in the center. Then progressing towards my deployment zone, on either side of the battlefield is a pile of rubble. This pile of rubble is area terrain. It's light cover and difficult ground. So it gives you a plus. They're kind of like craters. So they give you a +1 cover save if you're standing in them, but they're -2 movement. So they're -2 to move, and if you try to charge through it, it's also a -2. Okay, so then getting on towards my half of the battlefield, there is a big ruin in the center. It's not very tall, but it is dense cover. So dense is -1 to hit if you shoot through it. It's defensible, so you get bonuses if you are assaulted, and it's area terrain. And it's difficult ground as well, so it'll be a -2 to move or charge through it. On either side of that are some piles of barrels and pipes, which are also light cover in unstable position. And then all the way in my deployment zone, There is a area, terrain, scalable, breachable, dense cover, defensible, kind of ruin type situation. But one thing to note is this game doesn't actually have any line of sight blocking very much at all. It's except for true line of sight. We're just going to be on top of each other, doing as much damage as possible with considerable like -1 to hit. Jason does have some LOS blocking on his side, but for the most part, it's fairly open. But neither of us have very powerful shooting armies, anyways, so it's totally fine. I think that's it. All right, Jason, what did you find out?
So Cabalistic Rituals. So one of the, and this is we'll go over this more when we do the Crusade content for the Thousand Sons. Mm-hmm. Basically, you have Cabal points, and you're free to use these Cabal points to make sure that things happen in the psychic phase. And depending on the model, you may have more or less. So, for instance, Maggie gets 4 Cabal points if you just have him, period. And these points, whenever you have them, you generate them at the beginning of the psychic phase. At the end of the psychic phase, that pool goes away. So, does that make sense? Like, you always... my list has 12 Cabal points, which is actually a lot, I think, at this small of a game. I could probably make more, but whatever. So what happens is, for instance, there's one called Imbued Manifestation. So you use this ritual when a psychic power is successfully manifested by a unit from your army, and you add 6 inches to the range of that power's effects, just to make it more, you know. So if I have 12 Cabal points, that's a 4 Cabal point ritual. So I would burn 4 of those, and I'd have 8 left, and I would still have a few that I could use to make sure that psychic powers go off. You can only use each of these rituals once per turn. So let's see. Oh,
that makes sense.
There's a couple of others that are pretty cool. You know, there's Kindred Sorcerer, which is 5 Cabal points, and you use this ritual after taking a psychic test for a unit from your army, and you can add 1 to the test. So I guess if you really do need that extra 1 to make sure power goes off, you can burn 5 Cabal points, and that would take care of that pretty quickly.
I made you a Cabal points D20.
Oh, God.
There you go.
Ugh, gross. Okay, cool. So anyways, yeah, I've got the Cabal points. Let me see. That was... Why was I talking about that? Oh, because each
psychic powers.
Each rubric team has an Inspiring Sorcerer, which gains 1 Cabal point. But if you give it the icon of flame, that generates an extra 1. So each one of these rubric teams is 2 Cabal points.
They generate that at the start of the turn.
Yeah.
Or is it at just the start of the game?
No, it's at the start. I mean, every time you have a psychic phase, you go back to having your 12 Cabal points.
Oh.
So that at least that's what I'm, you know, blah 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 blah.
Or you go. It's based on how many units. So you're right now. Your army generates 12 because you have the sorcerer or whatever. And if they die, then you would just generate fewer, I guess.
Yeah. Like if you...
Okay, and it's a use it or lose it situation. They don't carry over to the next turn.
You can't sit there and... You can't go through and say, hey, I've only used 8, so I'm going to bank 4 for the next. No, it's those 4 get pulled, and the next time you start again, it's with however many... Whoever's still alive on the board, they generate their Cabal Union, the points. So... Which is kind of cool, because, I mean, it just goes through and reinforces these are a psychic, you know, this is a psychic army, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see. Let me move that over here. Who else we talk about? 3 squads of rubrics, you know, whatever the rubrics. I didn't have that Dreadnought, the Contemptor Dread. What'd I give it? Cyclone Missile Launcher. I gave it a Dreadnought Chain Fist because the model I have has the Force Sword, and the closest thing to that is a Chain Fist, so we'll just call it that. And I have a Twin Hellforged Autocannon on here because I wanted to make sure I had shots.
Nice.
I did go through and pick up a few different weapon options for this guy. I have a Volkite, whatever it's called, and I picked up a Conversion Beam Blaster because I thought that'd be kind of cute to have on there.
That's cool. Those are like the underslung weapons.
Yeah, I can this for the model that I actually have. I've got it magnetized and I can pop those on and off. The underslung quote unquote weapon is a Graviton Blaster, which is in the hand, if I remember right. Of the
right.
That's cool. It's a fun. I mean, I went through and tried to find something where I could take this model because it looks cool, it looks pretty, and actually show that I know how to paint sometimes.
And you said he has this one can manifest psychic powers, or is that only in
30K?
In 30K.
Yeah, which is kind of a bummer because it's a really cool model, but then again, that's not in 40K. But I can go through and kind of say, well, it has the Cyclone Missile Launcher, but it's a telepathic one, I guess. I don't know. There's ways to make it work. Well,
tell me about this Sorceress Facade power.
Okay, Sorceress Facade, where to go? That one is a power that is specific to Cult of Duplicity. And it allows you to teleport out units. Allows you to go through and kind of redeploy them. It's a blessing. Warp charge of 8, but I mean it's Thousand Sons, so that's really a 7. If manifested, select one friendly Cult of Duplicity infantry or monster unit within 6 inches of the Psyker. Remove that unit from the battlefield and set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. So it's a nice redeploy, which there's so much shooting in this army that, if I move something within 9 inches, that turns all my rubrics into automatic rapid fire range. And the same with the dreadnoughts. And the Terminators. So yeah.
Right. And that's all of them have that, right? Because it's their special power.
Yeah.
Okay. And it looks like the one of these units has empiric guidance, which I think, is that what you just talked about? Did you talk about that?
I don't remember, did I? It's a new army, so I'm trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's definitely new to me.
And I've got Spawn.
That's
too.
Totally fine.
That's even better.
Yeah, it's going to be so awesome. I love Spawn. These guys are great.
All right.
They're like,
Empiric Guidance. Where is that? Do you remember which model that was on?
That is on one of the aspiring sorcerers from the...
Okay, so that's right. So one of the... I basically put down Doombolt for 2 of the aspiring sorcerers, but I decided to go ahead and put another psychic power on another one. Okay. Empiric Guidance is a blessing, and if manifested, select one friendly Thousand Sons unit within 12 inches of the Psyker. Until the start of the next psychic phase, add 6 inches to the range characteristic of rapid fire and heavy weapon models in that unit. So that gives that unit a little bit of a chance to have a little bit more shooting.
That's really cool. I like that. And the Terminator sorcerer has...
What does he have?
Tzeentch's Firestorm.
Oh, yeah. This one... Okay.
So I'm wondering, it's like mortal wounds for each model or whatever.
Okay. I actually love this psychic power because it just makes me laugh. All right, so if manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches invisible to Psyker and roll 9 d6s. For each roll of 6, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. If the result of the psychic test was an unmodified 9+, so if I actually roll a 9, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound for each roll of 5 up instead.
That's awesome.
It's kind of a goofy, it's situational. It's a 6 up, but it's 9 dice, and it's really kind of flavorful for Thousand Sons. So
yeah, no, that's fantastic. I love
you'll
it.
probably get 1 mortal wound on it, maybe 2 if you're lucky. So
right.
yeah.
All right, cool. So that is. Don't die.
Yeah.
That is our armies. What we're going to do is I'm going to be deploying first, starting to deploy first because I'm the defender. But before that, we're going to pick our agendas. We're going to do that off the radio, though, because we'll probably have to think about it, because Jason didn't know what mission we were playing before this, so he needs some time to think about what he wants to do with his agendas. And we'll each get to pick 2 agendas.
I'm grabbing a Crusade.
And we'll talk about that. Yeah. Oh yeah, certainly. So we'll talk about that when we come back after we're done deploying.
Greetings, mofos.
Are you out of George Dickel number 8, staring at a broken chess machine?
Well, don't want to spend the rest of the year tied to that couch?
Well, why don't you head on over to the 1 Hour a Night Facebook page and see what exciting stuff is going on there. It's a place to post all your daily progress in the hobby grind, as well as receive and give positive feedback. Also, there are usually a few interesting challenges going on.
That's right. All you have to do is search for 1 Hour a Night on Facebook. That's numeral 1 Hour a Night, all one word. Blood serum tests will be administered prior to approval.
Se til helvete og kom dere vekk. Det ikke en bikkje, det en slags ting. Den imiterer en bikkje, men det ikke det. Kom dere vekk, idioter!
What he said.
Damn, I knew it was around here somewhere. Damn, where is it?
Can I help you?
Ah! Scared me.
What do you seek?
I need the perfect scenario for a narrative game I'm running this week, and I can't find one.
Sir, this is the Black Library. We don't have narrative scenarios.
Well, then where should I go?
Might I recommend the Tabletop Campaign Repo?
The Tabletop Campaign Repo? What's that?
The Tabletop Campaign Repo is an ad-free site for hosting resources related to playing tabletop miniatures wargaming.
Oh, like scenarios?
Absolutely. Also, event packs, custom objectives, tracking sheets, custom terrain rules, maps, icon packs, award templates, and more.
Oh, and this is for Warhammer 40K?
Among other things, there's also Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and others. They're always open for content submissions for any system, even non-Games Workshop materials.
Oh, that's awesome. It sounds like a great way to save all of this great content the community makes. A lot of that stuff often ends up disappearing into a dead message board or Facebook group.
Exactly. It's a real community effort.
Great. So how do I get there?
Just go to that webway gate marked tcrepo.com.
tcrepo.com. Got it. Can I ask you one more question before I go?
Fire away.
This place is really easy to find. How come Aramon can never find it?
Oh, because it's more funny that way.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Once again, the Tabletop Campaign repository can be found at tcrepo.com, and they're always looking for submissions.
All right, we're ready to roll.
Welcome back. So, agendas. I pulled up some of these little counters for our agendas, which I hope will be helpful. Of course, there's going to be counters all over the battlefield, but it's whatever. I kind of want to get, those little dial counters, those little drum.
Oh, yeah.
Like cylinder. I think those would be great for marking kills and marking, agendas and stuff. Like different colored ones. I know you can 3D print them, but not with a resin printer. They're better for like having different colors.
Yeah.
So anyways, the ones I picked, the first one I didn't pick any of the orc ones because none of the orc ones are great for the kinds of armies I play.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked Witch Hunter, which is kind of a derp for this mission for against you.
Yeah.
Witch Hunter is keep a Witch Hunter tally, add 1 to the unit's Witch Hunter tally each time it destroys an enemy Psyker. Add 3 instead. 3 instead if it's an enemy. If it was a Psyker character, you get XP equal to the Witch Hunter tally. So,
okay. You could actually go through and score quite high if you.
Yeah, if I manage to kill any of your units. The other one I did was Assassins, which is Assassin tally for each unit in your army. Add 1 to the tally each time it destroys a character. Each unit gets 2 experience for each mark on its Assassin's tally. So for every character I kill, the unit gets 2 experience. Which ones did you pick, Jason?
I picked out of the Crusade rules for the Thousand Sons. So there's actually 4 agendas you could take, but there's one there's 2. I really like all of them, to be honest. But I decided to take Wrath of Sorcerers and keep a Wrath of Sorcerers tally for each unit in your army. Add 1 to the unit's Wrath of Sorcerers tally each time it does any of the following. So manifests Smite, manifests a Witchfire, manifests a Malediction, or destroys an enemy unit in the Psychic phase. The unit in your army that has the highest Wrath of the Sorcerers tally earn 2 experience points. If 2 or more units are tied, you get to choose which unit achieves this agenda. So it's not like a overpowered agenda, but it works pretty well, and someone's going to get those 2 experience points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed points.
Oh yeah,
you're going to get those points. Yeah. Someone's going to get something.
And then I picked up the other agenda, and I'm not sure how it's going to be, but let's see what happens. Arcana Long Buried. The flavor text is, by exhuming the long-buried remains of Rubricate armor, the Thousand Sons can perform rituals of rebinding that soon see the ranks of their thrall band swollen anew. Which I think that's pretty cool. So you keep an Arcana long-buried tally for each unit. And they get 1 point to this tally each time it successfully completes an action. The action is Arcana Long Buried. 1 infantry unit from your army, excluding characters, can start to perform this action into your movement phase if it is wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. And the action is complete at the start of your next command phase. So I guess it's going to take that unit out for that
for that turn, but you'll be there for the Psychic phase.
Yeah. So each unit gains a number of experience points equal to their. Wait, hold on. Where does it go? Each unit gains a number of experience points equal to their tally. If the combined tally for all your units in your army is 3 or more, gain 1 arcane point. And the arcane points is a way for you to upgrade your Crusade army by getting, 64 in your hymnal. You can go through and get like better Crusade relics, and this is what's really fascinating to me, is that you get better psychic powers by spending these arcane points. So there's actually really cool staff in here, but it's really expensive. So yeah.
Okay. So my thought is, you are going to have to be using actions to destroy my objectives, which is going to be tough. Yeah. But I think that'll be, if you do manage to do that, that'll be a huge gain for not just your units that are doing it, but for your whole army. So, I can definitely see it. I can definitely see that being a good one.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right.
Real flavorful stuff.
Nice. So I'm going first because the mission says so. So I deployed in, I don't know, I wouldn't say aggressive. I mean, it's kind of hard not to deploy aggressively since the deployment zones are so small. Yeah. I put a truck with my warlord in it, front and center, smack dab between the 2 center back objectives in my deployment zone, right in front of this ruin here. So he's somewhat exposed, but I do have this dense terrain in front of me to give a -1 to your hits,
Yeah.
which is nice. To the right of that, I have another truck hiding behind a silo that has the Warboy in it. To the left of that is pretty much the only place I could put the kill rig with Ironbiter's squad inside it. And that's not going to move very far. It's going to be moving through. It has no choice but to move through dense terrain. So it's going to be -2 movement regardless. And so that'll be really interesting. I should get some psychic powers off, but probably not my AoE psychic power. So that's something. Also, I spent a command point to put my Squig Hogs into reserve. It was a total of 8 power level, so it cost me 1 CP to put those in strategic reserve. Because there's not a whole lot of room, and I have like a bunch of this difficult terrain that I have to march through. So I think having those guys in reserve isn't a terrible idea. Okay, so Jason, you chose not to redeploy because you were deploying kind of. There's really no big deal with how everything is deployed.
Well, you have to redeploy according to your deployment zone. Like, march to the mission, and the mission says you can only deploy in here, and so it's such a packed table. Like, is this like a 6-inch deployment zone on each side?
Something like that. It's 30. 22 minus 12, like 10, 9 or 10 inches.
There's really not any reason for me to redeploy because, one, there's not a lot of room, and two, you'd actually deployed everything way before I was even halfway done with deployment.
So you already had everything kind of where you wanted it?
Pretty much.
Right.
I wasn't sure where I would place stuff, so.
Right. Well, that's fair. So what's going to happen?
Sorry.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Don't die.
I'm trying.
Don't die. All right, so I'm going to move these guys forward, maybe do 1 or 2 psychic powers, but it's really all about getting near those objectives and trying to deny you the destruction of said objectives. I can't score the primary objective on turn 1 anyways, so if you can manage to crump 1 flank, that'll be a big deal for you.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll do our turn 1s. Welcome back. So we have completed turn 1 of the Orks versus the Thousand Sons. So in my turn 1, I just kind of took the middle of the field on my side of the battlefield. I didn't advance up or anything. I don't have a war boss in this army, so there's no advancing and charging or anything like that. It was really just a cautious move up the battlefield. Each truck has 10 boys and a weird boy in it. So there's a truck on the right that went up to the objective, the midfield objective. The truck in the center with my warlord in it. So the warlord got out, and the truck is like kind of in front of him. And they're both guarding my rear objectives. And the kill rig is on the far left. It moved up right on the edge of the scrap pile because it didn't want to reduce its movement. It's just kind of hung out there. I tried casting, I believe it was Smite, and I think you denied it.
Yeah.
No.
Wait.
Yes. Yeah. You denied it.
Them, yeah.
And then I cast Roar of Mork. Roar of Mork gives you a -2 to run and charge. On the rubrics, it really wasn't a great target for that, but I really didn't have any other target.
I remember I actually selected that as a power in our Orks episode because I thought it was funny.
It is still funny. And until this very moment, it didn't occur to me that the Roar of Mork -1 leadership to enemies isn't on the unit that you cast it on. It's all enemies within 18 inches of the caster. Putting that on a kill rig is pretty crazy because his base is huge.
Yeah.
So having a -1 leadership all around the kill rig, that's not terrible. That's pretty great.
The only thing is with my army, we just kind of ignore morale tests.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah,
this
sure.
would be
It's not
great
good
some
against
army,
you, but
an Imperial and a guard army though. It'd be beautiful.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, or another orc army. So then we just kind of really quick shifted to the shooting phase. I put a few pot shots into the Rubric squad on my left side. So, and that's kind of your lightly defended area, except for the fact that your warlord's over there.
Yeah.
But the kill rig emptied into them, and the Whir Tower did quite a bit. It killed one, and then I believe the Lava killed another one.
Yeah.
So there were 2 dead Rubric Marines in that squad. 2 or 3? No, 2 dead Rubric Marines in that squad. That's really all I did on my turn. A lot of the action happened on your turn.
Yeah.
So you decided to pick up another stratagem for your army, right?
Yeah, coruscating beam, which basically it's kind of like an orbital bombardment in that what you do on this one is it's a beam weapon. You go ahead and place your first token in in your command phase. In the next command phase, you place a second, and then you draw a line between the two, and stuff gets real nasty from there. It's
nice.
Do I have it pulled up here? No, I don't. Anyway, but no, it does go through and cause some really fun damage on any unit that's underneath that beam. So
right. And if I want to cast Frazzle with my kill rig, I'll have no choice but to put it in pretty big peril of being hit by the coruscating beam. Yeah. Because my long story short, after all of that the psychic powers that you cast, and the let's say okay shooting that you did, I'm down to half wounds on the kill rig.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of burying the lead here, but yeah, I'm going to have a hard time moving across the battlefield with it. I think it's only got one more turn left in it.
And I popped that one truck on the other side.
Yes, the far right side truck that had the Warboy in it, Zagwarp, did get destroyed by shooting and psychic. You did pretty good in the psychic phase. You used your Cabal points to
those were nice.
We get plus D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, that was and trying to remember the exact one. The one of the Cabal things you can actually go through and let me see. Here it is. Malevolent Charge. Yeah. So what happens is if a psychic power inflicts mortal wounds on enemy unit, after inflicting those wounds, select one of those units and inflict D3 more additional mortal wounds. So I was able
That's really awesome.
Yeah, that's how I took out that truck. Otherwise, yeah.
I think it's really cool because you're not gonna you don't have to say beforehand this psychic power does +3 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Instead, you wait for a power to go off, and then add 3 mortal wounds to it.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It'll never be wasted, is what I'm saying. So that's cool. And the boys got out of that truck pretty, as like on the other side of it. They weren't very brave. They weren't feeling very brave yet. So because they had to protect the Warboy. This is a very cautious orc army because of the weird boys. They're very strange and have very strange tactics. I only lost one Warboy to the
explosion,
to the destruction of the truck. But yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm still a little worried about this mission, whether or not you're going to be able to perform actions on these objectives.
Yeah.
I know though that this edition, I really haven't used actions very much. So I really haven't explored it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the actions in the game are broken if someone else is within range of the objective. This mission is set up so that that doesn't happen. You can perform the action as long as nobody's within engagement range of you, but nowhere does it say that the action is stopped if someone's in engagement range with you. And it doesn't say that you can't perform the action on the objective if someone else is within range of the objective. It's actually a weird one because it's easy to start, it's easy to maintain, but it still has to be finished at the start of your next command phase.
Yep.
So it's a little easier, but it's also a little harder. So I'm just interested to see how this works out.
Oh, and one of my spawn went and assaulted the kill rig and knocked it down to just put it on that
the one wound you did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
he died, but I think it was worth. Yeah, there's pieces, but I don't think it exploded. I think that the squig in front ate it.
That's a possibility. I would be happy.
I think that's what happened. I'm happy with that. He's rolling around in my belly. He'll poop out later.
Well, that'll be
He'll probably poop out as many little spawns or something.
Aw, how cute. Yeah.
All right, let's see if I can slow you down. If I can slow you down so that maybe you only get the front two objectives instead of all of them. That's kind of my goal, I think. Let's see what happens.
All right.
Welcome back. So I decided it'd probably be a good idea to do the top of turn 2 because I'll probably forget everything that happened because turn 2 and 3 will be very eventful. So the battle has definitely split into two fronts, one on the far left and one on the far right, where it's basically the kill rig holding down the left flank all by itself, along with the unit inside, and then pretty much the whole rest of my army taking the right flank. I didn't come in with the pigs yet, with the squig hogs, because I feel like I'm going to need those to respond if somebody starts performing an action on one of my objectives. I think the most significant damage I did was on the left flank with the kill rig going after the rubrics over there, the one unit of rubrics, and your warlord who is not protected by any units at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
My frazzle power didn't hurt anybody, which was disappointing. And I did get the Roar of Morkoth on your warlord. And I did smite the warlord for 2, I believe, which was nice. And then I shot the rubrics down. I was really hoping to take them out and get a witch hunter point. Actually, I was really hoping to both get a witch hunter point and an assassin's point for the kill rig. But alas, there was still an aspiring sorcerer remaining in the rubric unit, and I failed my charge on your warlord because I'm stuck in that crater.
Yeah.
And I too have exposed my warlord because I charged the truck in to block the objective and get the spawn stuck in. It'll probably be worth losing my warlord if I do, if that means that you never actually get the primary objective. The boys on the right flank also failed their charge due to the crater on that side of the table. So I have kind of stagnated in the middle of the battlefield, but also I think I have protected myself from you performing any actions this turn also. However, I think that your sorcerer is more than capable of doing so if he wants to.
Oh, grabbing that objective?
Of starting to perform the action on the objective if he wants to. Because he's so fast. You'll just have to be careful about tying up that kill rig and making sure it can't attack your warlord also. But that is it. I didn't do a whole lot, but there was like kind of a lot to talk about. I really didn't do a whole lot with psychic powers except on that left flank. My right flank didn't really do a whole lot. So we'll see. We'll see on your turn how much damage you do, and by turn 3, all the boys will probably be out of the vehicles, and they're going to be romping around doing their thing. So, all right. Do you have anything to add? What do you think? What do you think your plan is, Jason?
I don't know. That kill rig makes me kind of nervous because of how much psychic shenanigans it can do. I mean, it just has all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it actually can cast all 3 of its powers in a turn, and it does a lot of damage. So yeah, that AoE is nasty.
Yeah.
It can be nasty. You just have to get the 4-ups.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got to figure out how I'm
Right.
going to pull this one off. I do have some ideas, though, on what to do. I mean, it's...
Right. And if all else fails, rack up those
Oh, yeah,
those agendas
Yeah.
and yeah. Oh, we didn't write down who killed the truck. We got to make sure to do that. But other than that, we're ready for turn 2. Welcome, Warhammer enthusiasts, to the bottom of turn 2, where you did a lot, and I'm trying to use my NPR voice, despite the fact that my son is in the next room, just talking, giving a soliloquy to his stuffed animals.
Hey, man, they wanted the soliloquy. They deserve a soliloquy.
So again, those Cabal points. So I was thinking that my army would be really defensive against yours, but those Cabal points. I mean, to be fair, I am doing a lot of. I'm doing some denials.
Yeah, you're hitting.
And I'm denying some mortal wounds. Like the first turn, I didn't roll a lot of denying mortal wounds with the Death Skulls. This turn, I did, but still, you're able to do quite a bit of damage, and then you have a good follow through with the shooting.
Yeah, I've been lucky on this one because sometimes my the shooting in the first turn was terrible, but this shooting was much better.
Yeah, you took out the other truck in combat, and you nearly killed. So my Warboy was almost destroyed because you killed the unit of boys that got out of the first truck with shooting without any problem whatsoever, with the Rubric Marines and the Scarab Occult Terminators, and left my Warboy kind of sitting out there.
Yep.
For some reason, I just rolled all kinds of 6-up invulns and 5-up feel no pains because I have the Beast Hide Mantle.
Oh, is that how he's surviving? Okay.
Yeah, he had the Beast Hide Mantle. My other weird boy survived as well, despite being... I think mainly he survived because he's sitting in that difficult ground, or in that dense cover for the -1 to hit. That was really helpful to keep him in the game. But the Warboy is down to 2 wounds, and feeling pretty good about that. You did charge the truck with almost everything.
Yeah.
And that Chaos Dreadnought did the damage.
Yeah. That chain fist is like a can opener. It's too bad
really
that what was it? I had 5 attacks because of the charge and only 1 went through. It's like that's cool. That's fine.
That's cool. And even with Furious Assault or whatever it is, was it a hateful whatever it is?
Yeah. It just
yeah.
Some of my rolling has been pretty awful, but some of it's actually been pretty good. So
still, the truck was destroyed.
Yeah.
At the last bite, 1 wound from a Rubric Marine.
Wait, was it I think it was the Aspiring Sorcerer that did it.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think it was the Aspiring Sorcerer.
Just smacked
with
his staff
a reroll.
Yeah.
A reroll of a 1 from the Exalted Sorcerer, and he plonked it. It did not explode. And the boys getting out, I did lose 3 boys to not being able to deploy them out of the truck.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really good phase for you, or a good turn for you.
Yeah.
I do still have quite a few Orks left, but at the same time, I'm not sure I have enough Orks left to get double casting on the Weird Boys, which is what I really want. I want to be able to cast Smite and their attack powers all this turn, and hopefully whittle down your numbers with mortal wounds. But I am not 100% sure that's going to happen. I'll have to get a better count of what I'm capable of. Again, the Weird Boy and the Warboy, they get 2 psychic powers per turn if they have 20 Orks within range, which I think I just lost exactly enough to make that not possible.
All right.
I think it'll work if the if the kill rig counts, but I think it's infantry. So let's do turn 3.
Okay.
Welcome back to the top of turn 3, I believe this is.
Yeah.
So I still left the squigs out of reserve, which I think you can still do in narrative play. I looked it up, and I don't see anything stopping you from doing that.
Yeah.
My psychic phase was not that great this time.
Yeah.
Daddy's car is still there. It's still hanging out with 3 wounds left. It's kind of just crumpling along, trying to do its best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the boys did manage to get out, and there were exactly 20 models for my weird boy. Oh, that's pretty cool, dude. Good job. There were exactly 20 models, so the Weird Knob Dreadborg he keeps hitting the space bar and it zooms out. It's very exciting. And I did cast 2 powers, but again, between your denial and my bad rolling, I was not able to do a whole lot of mortal wounds on the field. Even my squig power didn't really do much. It was very sad. So I relied on tried and true orc shooting and combat, and by that I mean combat, because the shooting wasn't that great either.
Yeah.
But I did manage to kill a handful of Rubric Marines in combat, especially the central squad. There's only one aspiring sorcerer left there.
Yeah.
But on the other flank, like, even just Rubric Marines in combat are going to kill orc boys.
Yeah.
Because we only have a 6-up armor save.
Yeah.
Or 6-up invuln save. So it's really, you killed enough where I failed a morale check on that flank unit, and there's only 2 models left in my unit, and there's 2 models left in your unit.
Yeah.
I also YOLO charged the Contemptor Dreadnought with both the weird boy and the warboy.
Yeah.
And you split your attacks.
And did nothing.
You did do 4 damage on my warlord.
True.
But the I popped the stratagem. He knows it's a microphone.
Yeah.
I'm sure the listeners appreciated that. So yeah, he used the toughest squig hide stratagem to only get wounded on a 4+, which you only hit once, and you got a 5 anyway. So it didn't really matter, but it was pretty good. And he rolled it. Oh yeah, he rolled a 6 for his invuln save. So you didn't do anything to him.
Yeah, that one.
So it was pretty exciting.
Yeah. I thought about not splitting and just beating the crap out of your warlord, but I thought, no, let's not do that. No, I wish I had.
Unfortunately for me, the Contemptor Dreadnought is allowed to shoot in combat with his non-blast weapons. So I think those guys are not much longer for this world. Yeah, you think it's funny, don't you? You think it's funny, don't you?
Oh, I think it's hilarious.
You think it's funny, don't you? All right. So we're going to come back at the end of turn 3, and we'll see where we're at.
Okay.
Welcome back to the end of turn 3, usually a pivotal turn.
Yeah.
And that's no different here. So what was your psychic phase like, Jason?
I don't remember now.
Yeah. It gets pretty rough. So your Contemptor was in combat with 2 weird boys.
Yeah. And
you cast Doombolt with an undeniable Doombolt, which I passed one of the 5-ups, but not the other 2, and he disappeared from existence. which was very unfortunate. Aside from that, all the rest of the mortal wounds and stuff did a pretty good job. I still managed to pass quite a few feel no pain, so, the lucky gets save, but not enough, really. Now, one thing that was really good was the what's it called? The like the ritualistic whatever against the kill rig. You did 3 mortal wounds with that.
The pact, the thing I did.
Yeah, the pact,
the command phase. Yeah.
Yeah. So the kill rig has 1 wound left, which is going to be really huge actually for the result of this game.
Yeah.
Because it will get a shooting phase against that spawn. I don't see that spawn surviving long enough to finish its action.
Yeah.
So it's possible. I mean, clearly we have 2 turns left, so you can perform the action with one of the many units over here,
right,
and then perform it again. Because you used that what's the teleport ability?
Oh, the Sorcerer's Facade. So I jumped. There's a Aspiring Sorcerer that was in the middle of a lot of Snagaboys, and he just decided to nope it out of there and teleport to the other side of the board. So
that was really smart.
Yeah.
So he's over there now. When I come in from strategic reserve, I will be able to get really close to him with my squig hogs. But honestly, you could just do that again next turn, and they will be ready to obliterate one of my burning barrels. Another cool thing, the Contemptor was able to shoot and kill the Warlord, my weird boy Warlord, and then charge the Beast Snagaboys that were in the middle. So honestly, all I have left right now is 3 Beast Snagaboys, Ironbiter, small squad,
and the kill rig
in combat with the Dreadnought. Ironbiter did manage to get the Dreadnought down to 1 wound, so he'll probably be dead, and the kill rig is still alive. But it also only has 1 wound left. So you're going to kill... I think you're going to kill that in turn 4. I'm going to kill the Dreadnought in turn 4. But I honestly think you are going to squeak this one out.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Let's see what happens in turn 4.
All right.
Welcome back. Okay, we have a real nail biter here, people. Yeah. Real nail biter. The kill rig did move over and kill the spawn. 2 boys remaining in the middle, the 2 Beast Snagaboys in combat with the Dreadnought did manage to kill that Dreadnought. So Ironbiter squad, a Dreadnought kill, tore it down.
That's pretty cool.
Got us a scrap point, which was awesome. They were psychic down on your turn, but hey, it was all worth it to them. Also the Beast Snaga Squig Hog boys popped in and shot the sorcerer to death, who is over on my battlefield edge. Then you creeped up with your Terminators and started to perform the ritual, or started to extinguish my node in the middle here. So you just have to survive my assault with the Terminators, and it will be extinguished, and one of your units will be able to move over and extinguish the barrel on my side of the battlefield.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
Well, let's see what happens.
Come here, boy. Get the ball. Come on, Max. Get the ball. Mom, Max won't get the ball. He's lazy.
I think I know why your Zote is being lazy, Jenny.
Why, Mom?
Because you forgot to feed him his Zotabix today.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Zotabix contains all the nutrients and random animal parts a growing Zote craves. It not only provides our Zote with the energy it needs to play with you and protect our home, but it also keeps its chitinous shell fresh and shiny.
Oh, boy. I'd better feed Max his Zotabix.
Yes, you had.
Zotabix is made in part from grade
Max,
A
time for
Astra
dinner.
Militarum post-engagement byproduct and is infused with 112 essential vitamins
No,
and
Max,
minerals
down.
harvested from your Zote's natural habitat, the finest desert depths.
Ah!
Zodabix is available in any shopping center on worlds where Zotes are allowed or where the Imperium's inexorable influence has not yet reached.
All right, welcome back to our turn 5 nail biter.
Man, this is crazy.
This was a tight one.
Yeah.
So one of the main things is we did a little bit of we went back to turn 4 for a little bit because
I made a mistake.
You made a mistake. You can't perform actions after you do psychic powers. So this is something I was doing accidentally at the start of 9th with my orcs, where I was casting to jump and performing an action after to jump, but the movement, all the actions are at the end of the movement phase. Well, most of them are.
Yeah.
So you can't to jump and then perform an action. So what we did was we had you roll your psychic power for turn 4 to jump. What's it actually called?
Sorcerer's Facade.
Sorcerer's Facade.
Yeah.
The
Cult of Duplicity.
sorcerer. Yeah, the sorcerer went into the terrain in the middle of the battlefield to hide, and with that, and I jumped in with my squig riders to try and take out the Terminators and cap this objective, but it just wasn't enough. You're able to survive the
tough,
assault.
Man.
They are tough, especially when they're in terrain, right? So they were in terrain. I wasn't able to shoot them off, and I wasn't able to charge them. And then the sorcerer was able to move over and perform the action on the objective and win the game.
Yeah.
Now, that's 45 points for you and 40 points for me because one of them is undestroyed.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the battle, the defender scores 10 victory points if the combined power rating of units that were destroyed from the attacker's army was more than 10 higher than the combined power rating of units that were destroyed from the defender's army. I only have 8 power level left.
Oh.
You have a whole Terminator squad left. You have a Rubric squad left. You have both your characters left. So that is kind of that.
Those guys
win the game.
survived a lot longer than I thought they would. I'm really shocked, to be honest.
Oh yeah, they were so good. They were so good. I had some chances to kill the characters. It just didn't squeak out.
Yeah.
And the rubrics, man, I really enjoyed the rubrics and the Scarab Cult Terminators.
It's weird because I've never liked rubrics or Terminators in the past. I took them because they're Thousand Sons, but now it's just like you can just keep beating them. They don't care, which is what they're supposed to be like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. And especially if you use the terrain to your advantage and, and if your opponent is taking some damage 2 stuff, they're relying on that damage 2, they're relying on like a super heavy damage 1, like rate of fire. It's not going to be as good. It's going to be,
Yeah.
So I'm excited. This was a really fun game. I'm so glad we got a game in together.
Yeah,
dude.
man. I'm happy, one, to hang out with you, of course. But 2, now I can actually kind of figure out what I'm going to do for Adepticon and what list I'm taking. Because I'm clearing off my paint table and I'm just going to paint the Adepticon stuff to get it ready to roll,
Yeah.
Mine won't be much more red than the regular blue of the Thousand Sons, though. They go faster.
So it looks like for the Wrath of Sorcerers, your Exalted Sorcerer did manage to clinch that one.
I figured he would.
So your Sorcerer is going to get the +2 experience points for that. No one managed to do the ritual in my Battlefield Edge, unfortunately, which it was kind of to be expected. As far as Mark for...
Sorry, good?
You okay, dude? As far as Mark for Glory goes, I'm going to go with the surviving Rubric squad that actually got 4 Wrath of Sorcerers points.
Yeah,
they were second only to the Exalted Sorcerer, and they were amazing. They held it down. They did all kinds of mortal wounds and stuff.
That one
so they get my vote, dude. They get my vote, dude.
I'll give it to them because they survived and they just kind of didn't care the entire time. It was just like, okay, fine. I think that sorcerer killed a unit in the psychic phase, so he got that +1 right there. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that happened with them that was just really kind of cool. So
Yeah, I agree. Do you remember who killed the truck, the kill rig in
the kill rig?
Was it the sorcerer? Was it the?
Yeah, it was the sorcerer.
Or no, it was the infernal master.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Wait, hold on. No.
It was his.
No,
it was
wasn't.
Oh, did I pass that save?
The aspiring sorcerer for that killed that rubric squad did it.
Oh,
Because-
then that means the exalted sorcerer and the inspiring sorcerer are tied.
Yeah.
For Wrath of Sorcerers, so you can pick which one you
I'm
want to
going
give the
it
two
to the
experience
exalted, but I'm definitely giving the honorable, but the other one to these guys because
Right. The what do you call it?
Marked for
greatness. Yeah. And also the bonus for this game is the bonus for winning Turn Out the Lights is an additional marked for greatness. So if you want to pass that to whoever you want, go ahead.
Oh man. Okay, that one's going to be tough because I think it could go to either the Infernal Master or it could go to that
I think what about the Dreadnought?
The thing is that the Infernal Master had all of those the Infernal packs, and he just kept like knocking points off of everybody.
Nice, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm down with that. So the Infernal Master and the Rubric Squad get your 2 marked for greatness, and your Exalted Sorcerer gets the Wrath of Sorcerers bonus.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, I like it. So what unit do you think in my army is most deserving of marked for greatness?
That kill rig.
The kill rig?
Dude, I dropped so much damage on that kill rig, and it just giggled.
It just kept coming, right?
I mean, it easily took most of my Infernal packs. It took almost... It took all of my Infernal packs and most of my Psychic to take him out. I mean, it was just like that first round, I couldn't do anything to him because he was denying everything. I think I knocked him.
No, that's fair.
I knocked him down to half points because that spawn attacked him.
Right.
But then after that, I just couldn't I will admit I kind of ignored him after that a little bit, but I still was dropping all sorts of stuff in there.
Yeah, it's too bad the Infernal Master failed his charge because it would have been that would have clinched the game for you. Yeah. You won anyways, but it would have definitely clinched the game had you made that charge with the Infernal Master. Okay, well, this was a bunch of fun. Yeah. I'm so glad we got this in before the end of the new year.
Yeah.
We're very excited. I'm glad we got a game in. I want to get more games in with you. I think, I think it would be fun to continue the Crusade campaign. So for our next episode, we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing the Rogue Traders and the
Inquisitors.
And the Inquisitors. Expect that, a little bit later since we did this, but like the middle of the month, and also it'll be a lot of notes for both of us. So we'll need a little bit of time to do that. But until then,
play the game the way you want to.
Awesome. Thanks, dude.
Nailed it. All right. Stop.
Nailed. We'd love it if you could give us a positive rating and review on iTunes.
If you'd like to keep in contact with us, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter by searching for Masters of the Forge.
And you can follow our hobby progress on Instagram with the hashtag Masters of the Forge.
If you'd like to engage with us directly, you can always join our Discord server.
To do so, or if you have any questions, topic suggestions, or if you'd like to advertise your creative hobby endeavor,
contact us at mastersoftheforge@gmail.com.
Please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/mastersoftheforge. Thanks.
The music used in this podcast was made by Parad of the duo Sublevel 3. The track is used with his permission. This podcast is protected by the Creative Commons Attribution, No Derivatives, Non-Commercial International License. More information about this license and contact information if you have any requests can be found at our blog, mastersoftheforge.com.
It's such a good feeling to play games your way. It's such a happy feeling 40K'ing away. And when you throw dice with story in mind, it's such a wonderful way to unwind. It's a good feeling, a very good feeling, the feeling you know that we'll be back when the fortnight's new, and we'll have new ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. We will too.